Good day, everyone. This is Mark Schmidt, Superintendent of Schools, with an update or a summary regarding last night's school board meeting, which took place Monday, March 18th at the high school media center. The main body of the school board agenda began with approving some changes to high school curriculum electives. They changed a social studies elective to a 0.5 geography requirement and a 1 credit of high school science elective to a 1 credit of required chemistry or vocational track. I believe the science change is due to an update in state requirements for high school graduation. The board then agreed to sponsor a trap shooting, a boys and girls trap shooting league. This would be a Minnesota State High School sponsored league. It would be at no cost to the district, but the district would need to sponsor it so it could be part of the Minnesota State High School League. This is probably one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing sport right now in the state. Maybe to answer a question that I had, and I think a lot of people have as well, how do you do that with kids bringing guns to school? And that's certainly not something that we would wish to do. The way this program works is the guns are kept out at the Sportsman's Club. I believe they're locked up in lockers so that kids don't have to be transporting them to and from school. Given this day and age, I'm sure people can certainly understand why that is. But it's exciting to have this trap shooting activity for students, and we certainly live in a good part of the state to participate in this, and wish the best of luck for our students participating in it, as well as the community members that have worked to get this endeavor going for our children. The board then had a lengthy discussion, quite a good discussion on a resolution to develop Connections High School as a district entity. This would be an offer that would then go to the board of Connections. Connections is a high school that would be housed in the college. It would be 9 through 12, and it would allow kids to learn in a project-based setting, in a smaller learning environment, and potentially be able to get to graduate out of high school with certificates in, say, things like welding or machining, and be able to have those post-high school certificates in those areas and be prepared in those type of careers. So that would not be if I don't know what various pieces of information, but this would allow it to take form, not as a charter, but as its own self-governed entity, where it would still have its own board to be able to make a number of its own decisions. The board then went on to financial report, and the main dialogue over that was a review of a list of budget cutting items, as school districts are all too familiar with. I've attached it onto this email, and if this is on Facebook, perhaps there's a link that would, or a note that would have this on there. But to have us even going into next year, we would need to reduce by $545,000. And when I say having us even, that would be not taking into account any increases from the state or any inflationary expenditure items. And the main reason for this reduction, quite honestly, is we received a loss of $150,000 in special ed funding, as well as $300,000 in compensatory funding. And that list is, for the most part, self-explanatory. Maybe I'll just take a few minutes and talk about. There's 3 $20,000 items you're going to see on there. Code some technology to capital, and you're also near the bottom. You're going to see code energy savings loan payments to capital outlay. Basically, that's probably the best way to describe it is robbing Peter to pay Paul, in that we're using some dollars that typically goes to maintaining our buildings, and in this case, maintaining both the interior of our buildings and the exterior, namely our roofs within the buildings, and using those dollars instead to pay for general fund costs, one of which is an energy savings loan, which we use the dollars that we've that we save from things like electric bills and heating bills to pay a loan. Well, we can use capital. Problem with that is we end up foregoing things like fixing roofs or fixing just the countless items that need to be repaired throughout any given year within a district and improvements. You can do that for a year, maybe even 2 years, but it's certainly not something you'd want to do down the road. But that's what the intent of those items are. With the thought that the initial governor's proposal doesn't have much of an increase for the district next year, but a pretty substantial increase the following year. So if we can get by with some of that stuff, and quite honestly, it's an attempt to try and save as many jobs as we can, with the thought process that if we can best take care of our adults as best we can, then our adults can best take care of our children, which is what we're ultimately here for. Now I say that, and certainly within that budget cut, there are adults that are adversely affected. We've just tried to minimize that by both the numbers of people affected, as well as you will look on the list, and currently there's nobody on there that would be placed on ULA, which would be affecting our tenured teachers. So that was one of the goals, was to be able to do that, or to be able to not place people on ULA. The board did not approve that list. The intent now is just to get input from people, so please share your thoughts with school board members, myself, principals on thoughts on that. But just please understand we have a projected deficit of $545,000, and one way, shape, or form we need to address that in operating in the black. Moving on, the board approved a bid for our auditing service, which is our local auditors in town, accountants in town, in the community of Staples. And then there were a number of personnel items, and we have some welcomes and some farewells. We welcome Laura Schoonover, who officially started yesterday on Monday as our district nurse, and Steve Jennison, who is our vocational rehab counselor. We welcome Laura and Steve. And we bid a farewell to Greg Dobson, bus driver, Laura Hubert, Staples Elementary secretary, Kathy Hansen, head cook, Staples Elementary, John Moore, food service director, and Nancy Peterson. I want to personally thank all those individuals for the many, many years of hard work and their vast talents that they've helped the district and helped our children achieve within our district. So I thank them for all that they've done for this school, and also wish them the best of luck in whatever their future endeavors may be, whether it be another job or retirement, or maybe even a little of both for some people. The board then moved on to grant permission to post for our buildings and grounds supervisor. That was Jim Christopherson's position, or is his position. He resigned. The caveat with that is we are reevaluating that position on being able to perhaps find ways and create some efficiencies and save some dollars in the rehire of that. The board then gave permission to post for the head cook at Staples Elementary, which is Kathy's position, and gave permission to post for summer school positions. Those summer school positions, we receive funding for those, so in some ways it's kind of a flow through with that. That concludes the board activities. Last night the board did go into a closed session for negotiations and had some dialogue on that. But that concludes the update for last night's board meeting. Take care, everyone, and think spring, as warm weather is just around the corner. Bye.